Hey there, my friends. It's Bill MacDonald, the reading and writing doctor. Today, I wanted to show you a form I made this week to help teachers who have the responsibility to grade multiple, sometimes in the hundreds of open-ended responses. Uh, the form I'm going to show you today is just going to be on text entry responses where they're open-ended, where the students have to respond with a word, a phrase, uh, or a sentence. Uh, it's also going to work for answer evidence questions, for all the 2-point questions for fifth grade science, US history, biology. I'll show you how to do it because all those questions are 2-point questions that are part A, part B. And the other one I'm going to show you how to do is when answer B is dependent on part A to get correct, you have to get the first one correct in order to get the second one. So what I'll do is I'm going to show you how to use that form with some actual responses that some students wrote for their school at the beginning of the year. So let me get them ready. Okay, this first one that I want to go over with you is for revision. And remember that revision is not adding, removing, replacing. Think of the acronym ARM. You're not going to add green, remove red, replace green, but we're going to move just the order of words around. So think of revision as taking something the way it looks right now and making it better later by adding, removing, replacing, or moving something, not substituting, because they use the phrase, what could best replace blah, 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 and improve the meaning, improve the content. So they'll use remove and replace instead of substitute. So let me show you the form so that you can see how it applies specifically to open-ended text entry revising questions. So the students got a question, I believe it was question 5 in third grade. They said, what is the best revision in sentence 5? So that was the question. So let me make him look like an S. So the red light is, what is the question? And because the students have to understand that revision is revisioning something, improving content, they're not going to add, replace, or remove something. They're going to just move something. And so right now, what they saw was they never to capital, they never to restaurants go with us, period. All right. And one of my friends here in the group went to go to a meeting at the Texas Education Agency where they discussed these text entry responses. And they said that when you're focusing on the order in revision, then they don't hold your students as accountable with the capitalization uh, or the punctuation, but they just want to make sure your students know how to improve the content without changing the meaning or losing some of the content. And so because this is only a 1-point question, uh, the, the answer that they write will just be a yes or a no, and they'll get the point. Okay, so the way that they wrote it, the, the question, the way it is now, the way it is later based on how the students wrote it. So they're either going to get 0 points for a no or 1 point for a yes. And I'm just going to do 10 with you so you can see how to use this form. And for all of you who are signed up for the in-person and online recorded trainings, I've already sent this to your email address, this video, and this little PDF file. So hope you enjoy it. I'm going to show you how to use it for um, response and evidence, answer evidence, not an acronym that forces you to explain, because in short constructed responses, you don't have to explain anything. All of the social studies, biology, US history, all they're asking you to do is answer two questions. So those are part A and part B. And so all those consultants out there that are having you explain short constructed or just two-part questions, they're kind of misleading you and making you do a lot of extra work that's not required. So by the time I finish, I'm going to show you how to do this with these uh, open-ended text entry 1-point questions, the open-ended answer evidence 2-point questions, the part A, part B, where part B only gets the credit if part A is correct for reading and writing, and all of the other subjects that have a part A and part B. And as long as you answer one part, you get 1 point. If you answer the other part, you get a point. If you answer both questions, then you get 2 points. And so the cool thing is it's a pretty quick check form focused on the yellow light and the red light being the two different parts. And so this first one is just going to be a 1-point question. So let me take you into that portion. A school was nice enough to share some responses with me, and they are right here. All right, so I'll show you basically through these 10 questions, the answers, the points that they would get, and why they would get those points, if that makes sense. Okay, so first one, and it says capital. They never go to restaurants with us, because number one starts with a capital. It has the correct order. They never go. The never to restaurants go. The go moved over from the back position to the correct position, then we would say yes for number one, and it would get a total of 1 point. And so I'll show you the form once we're done with all 10. Number two, capital, they never go to restaurants with us. There's not a period this time. The spelling is correct, but remember, they're not grading the conventions according to my friend who went to the meeting with the state. So if the student has the correct organization of the words without changing the meaning of the content, then they get the point. So number two would also get a point. Number one, in spite of the lack of spelling on the first word and the punctuation at the end, they would still get the point. Number three, they never to restaurants go with us. Since that wouldn't be the correct order, number three, we would place an X on the no part. Number four, they never go to restaurants with us. That is correct. A yes. Number five, they never go to restaurants with us. No capitalization, no spelling, but I can still understand the content enough so that they do have the order. So number five would be a yes. Dogs are not loud. All of that content did not need to be added. So I automatically have to give a 0 on number 6 because they added content. All they needed to focus on was sentence 5 and tell me whether or not it had the correct order. 7, they never to restaurants go with us. That content would be wrong because the go has to be, it looks like that one didn't even change anything. They never go. Go would be after never. Number 8, no capital. They never go to restaurants with us. No capital, no period, but the content is correct, so the student would get the credit. A table for a dog. That has nothing to do with the content except for the dog, so no points for number 9. 10, you can never say they have gone with us. It changed the content, so that would get a no. All right, so I'll come back out so you can see. Can't show you two things at the same time unless I was to have printed out the document, but I just wanted you to see on the computer because most of the responses, as you know, a lot of you are only using the computer, so I can just fly down my computer screen. And using my paper form, here is what it looks like. Okay, so on number 1, we said yes, got a point. Number 1 was a yes, total score was a point. Number 3, we said no, so no points. Number 4, yes, they did change the order, so they get a point. Number 5, a yes and a point. 6, the order no, no points. Number 7, no, no point. 8, yes, a point. Number 9, no, no point. And the last one was also a no, no point. And so the cool thing, if you look on the other side, I can do any number. I was working with a school district, and thought I was going to have more than 40 responses, so that I just used the back of this one so that you could see that you could grade up to 40 responses on one sheet of paper. So there you have it. My next one will be how to use this form with 5th grade science when you're doing 2-point questions. Please share this video with your revising friends, the people who are responsible for the writing. If you're responsible for reading and writing, then of course share it with yourself, tag yourself, save the video. If you are in my teacher group, go ahead and make sure you save it to, I want you to divide your lessons into portions called editing, revising, non-multiple choice questions, short, the open-ended text entry and short constructed answer evidence ones, and then the essays. I would suggest you have little folders that every time you get a lesson that you can put it in there, and I'll have titles for each video lesson, and that way you can easily find it by going to the right little folder in your computer. Thank you guys. God bless and have a wonderful day.